Hello, there we go. Welcome back to the class. You guys should all know what's going on now, so we're going to get straight into it. Air squats times 10, going to our lowest position. If you need something to assist you to get lower, I would prefer that you used something to get all the way down. Okay. My name is Corey. Welcome to the Bodyweight gym. 5, 6, 7, 8. And the beauty about this is you can always pause and go back if I go too quickly, but I'm going to try and keep it moving at a good pace. So I'm going to do our, I like to call them Russian squats. I've heard another coach called Coach Kelvin call them squat up downs. Mikkel, another one of our coaches, just calls them squats. Pretty funny. Anchoring your feet to your hands to your lowest part of your body, whether it's your ankle, your shin, your foot, or your heel, and then squatting down and pulling yourself in between your thighs. 10 of these, please. Cool, and then for our arms, we're going to do 30 seconds to 1 minute of hanging. I'm going to just do 30 seconds, but you're more than welcome if you're a little bit more advanced to go for a full minute. Cool. I'm just going to count in my head. Ten. Cool. We're going to repeat this set of exercises for 3 rounds in total. I'm going to perform 2 rounds and then I'm going to move on to the next. So that if you need to, you can always just pause the video or rewind and then you can go back to it. And that way you just keep it nice and concise because we're in a bit of a time constraint here in the studio. Cool. So we're going back to our air squats, all the way down, all the way up, driving our knees out to the side. If you have limited ankle and hip mobility, you can use a raised heel or raised platform under your feet to get a slightly better range. But this is why I say maybe hold on to something like the edge of a table or a box or a pole to help us get down all the way, because we really want to focus on going through that full range of motion rather than just partial range. 9, 10. Cool. From here, back to our Russian squats. Anchoring our hands to our feet at some point, whether it's our foot or our ankle or our shin or our heel if you've got it. Squatting down and then aiming to straighten my legs whilst also keeping my stomach as compressed and intact with my legs as possible. It's going to give us a big stretch through the back of the legs. Cool. 9, 10. Back to our hanging. I'm going to grab a little bit of chalk for my hands. Quite cold here this morning. Boom! If you're ever using chalk, always think less is more. For those playing at home, and clap the excess off your hands. It actually makes it worse, because then your hands are all chalky and powdery and dusty, where you just want them a bit dry. Hand sanitizer thief! Cool, getting our hanging in. And this should just be a relaxing, deep, passive stretch. And just feeling how your shoulders feel. I mean, it's 7 a.m. here, so I probably just jumped out of bed, so it's very realistic that my shoulders are quite tired and a bit stiff. You can always put your feet on the floor to assist you to get a longer period of hanging time in. I do recommend that for example, if you're very new to hanging, you can come with your feet on the ground, and if you can see clearly, I'm hanging directly underneath my shoulders. The shoulders are elevated up near my ears, and I'm still getting work in with the hanging, which is very, very valuable for us. Awesome. So you're going to do that for another set for the warm-up, and I'm going to move on to the next exercise here. So moving into the next exercise. There we go. Let's bring it up. Cool. We're going to do our wrist drills because we'll be working with some elements of handstand. So I'm going to do palm raises or first knuckle raises. Raising up through our fingers and forearms, floating up and down. And I want your attention to be in both the ascent as well as descent, or the eccentric phase as well as concentric phase. I want you to try and rotate your elbows forward. This is going to make it harder. Press through your shoulders. The way that I like to describe this is like calf raises, and while there might be value in trying to rep out calf raises as fast as possible for a high volume, there's also a lot of value, probably more so value, doing them very slow and controlled with time under tension. And that applies both to our forearms and calves, but most of the muscles in our body. Time under tension is really going to give us a lot of value back. Cool. So I've done about 20 to 30 of these first knuckle raises, and with good intention. I'm going to do the back of our hand now. These are called fin push-ups. Same thing again. I want the back of the hand to do majority of the work. To make this more accessible, I just move my hands closer to my knees. Try not to start too far away from the body. My forearms go out to the sides, chin to the floor or chest to the floor. And press using the back of my hands all the way through the shoulders. Cool. So I've done about 10 to 15, but your rep ranges, if you are starting out, I would suggest lower intensity, higher volume. If you're more familiar with these wrist drills, I'd like you to start increasing the intensity by going slower and then increasing the load time as well. Cool. We're going to move on to inchworm now, one of my favorites. And we're going to bounce 3 times to our lowest position. 1, 2, 3. Walk our hands out in front, trying to actively press our heels towards the floor and tuck our tailbone. And then we're going to, I like to say, Beyonce walk our feet to our hands. 4, 2, 3. I'm going to do this about 5 times. I'm actively pressing through the shoulders. My eyesight is through the top of my eyelids, looking between my hands. And I'm really taking time to get that stretch in the back of my legs. It's a very useful warm-up for handstand and straight arm push work, mostly because it's just warming up your hands without really putting too much emphasis on it. I really like it. Cool. Turning around, let's get another 2 stretches in. 1, 2, 3. Pressing through my shoulders, heels towards the floor. Tucking my tailbone. Bouncing at the bottom. Cool, so my 5 reps done there. Going to grab our band. Going to continue to warm up the shoulders, the nice band routine. So we're going to do band. Now these dislocates here, we can do anywhere between 10 to 20, which is why I've left an asterisk in there, and the same with the wrist drills, because it all sort of depends on what needs more attention. For instance, if you are a more experienced practitioner or athlete in some way, or you're familiar with these wrist exercises, then you can load up the intensity and do less reps or less volume. However, if you're more of a beginner, ranges of around 30 and above, but very low intensity are recommended. Same with this band range of motion. You are very much beginning out of this and doing lots to loosen your shoulders up and give them a nice sense of range is probably advisable. But if you've done this, or if you're familiar with this dislocates, go a little bit slower and increase the intensity and the demand through your shoulders. Cool. And we're going to do these set of exercises 3 times. I'm going to go through it twice, and then you're more than welcome to pause the video or restart the video so that you get your 3 rounds done. So as you can see, I'm going a little bit slower in this exercise. For me, I'm really trying to work on my right shoulder, going slow through that sticking point, or that awkward transition as it goes through retraction into elevation, and then the same as I patiently come back down through the front as well. I'm also trying to avoid extending my head in order to get my head through my shoulders. I'm just trying to keep it in a neutral position. Going back to wrist drills, 2nd round. So beginners anywhere between 30 to 50 reps. More advanced or experienced people, I want you to do less reps, but I want you to do more intensity. So control the load, time under tension. Try to think about 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down, and you should be aiming to be fighting the entire time. If you're finding that these slow tempo reps are too easy, it's very likely that your elbows are not rotated forwards. You can see the difference there. As soon as I rotate my elbows forward and I lean forward, it's much harder to keep them in that position, but that's exactly what I want. Do 2 more. Awesome. So we're going to, awesome. I was just checking the mic volume there, that's good. We're not picking up anything. We're going to go into our fin push-ups. So for these, beginners anywhere between 30 to 40 reps, just aiming to get the movement path and the the development, robustness, or durability in the back of your hands and wrists, make that a comfortable position. But for more advanced people, we can start to close the hand in order to increase the demand in our forearms. So if you can make either a monkey paw like that, or if you can make a fist, or if you can do a false grip or a hook grip, you might be familiar with, you can do these hand positions. That is going to increase the demand on your forearms. The higher the demand, the more that we can take our reps slower. And take our time through the reps. Cool. I'm going to give my hands a little stretch backwards, and you can feel free to do this at the end of your third round. Backwards. Internal rotation. And at any time you can pause the video and just see what I'm doing. Good thing about putting these videos on a resource format or a video format. Cool, so we're going back to inchworms. Another 5 of these. So bouncing to my lowest position. I'm not, and this is just a note that I've seen with when teaching this exercise, I don't want to compromise my leg position in order to bounce further. I want to keep them nice and straight. I don't want to protrude my bum super far backwards. I just want to be over my toes and go down as far as I can. So you can see that my legs are straight. I'm not back here with my bum. I'm over my legs and then bounce. And that's going to increase the demand and the stretch through the back of my legs and keep me more honest. Walk my hands out in front. Tuck my tailbone. And then Beyonce walk. Cool, 2 more reps. Cool. From here, we have a banded dislocate, so a band range of motion, and a rep range anywhere between 20 and 30 for people starting out. For people that are a bit more advanced and familiar, slower reps, 10 plus, taking our time, being patient with those points that are sticking and require our attention. the aim in this exercise is at some point to continue working inward as much as possible. So the the funny thing about stretching is that once you get a little bit better at stretching, well, then you have to increase the stretch. And so there's always this work that can be done. I'm very fortunate I have the camera watching me, so I can keep an eye on my shoulders and how they're tracking. And if you want to do this in front of a mirror, so go that way, that way. Cool. And then Gary's going to get a timer set up. Cool. And they're going to just be 40-second rounds. So actually 1-minute rounds, really. And then 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest in each of those. Cool. So I've done 2 rounds of the wrist drills, inchworm, band run. You're going to do another round of that. You're more than welcome to pause the video and then move forward after you completed these rounds. So moving on to our next set of exercises, we have the tri-lat stretch. So this is where we press our fingertips together. Our forearm is in a triangle or a pyramid position against the wall, and then I'm aiming to try and press into the wall and stretch my lats here and serratus on this side here, which is going to help us in our overhead position for our handstand. We're going to hold this for about 40 seconds. We're then going to go to an elevated position. I'm going to use a box, you can use a chair, anything that gets your knees reasonably high. And we're going to have our handstand position in lockout, and we're going to practice doing shrugs. So working from depression to the elevation lockout position that we want. And moving through this position is going to help us with stabilizing our handstand when we're doing free balance. We're then going to work on our middle splits. So we've got sliders. I've got a little stool here, so it's just something to rest my arms on, but you can use the box or the elevated chair or elevated item that you're using as well. And so like I said, we're going to do all of these for about 40 seconds with a 20-second rest in between. Each of these exercises go at your own pace in terms of intensity, and back off if you feel pain. However, we are trying to get to the point of reasonable discomfort so that our body has to adapt to the change. So I'm going to go over to the tri-lat stretch, and Gary's going to signal off the timer. Cool. Fingertips together, forearms in a pyramid position, pressing into the wall, tucking my tailbone, and timer's on, please. Thank you. Actively pressing my fingertips into each other, trying to round or externally rotate my arms in this position, and you will feel it when you start to feel all under your armpit and the side of your arm toward your armpit really starting to feel tighter. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Thank you, Gary. Okay, so as we're sort of just starting off with this exercise, you can take it a little bit slower. The first set is always a little bit challenging, but as we work through these sets, we're going to get more done. So getting ready for our box handstand position. Cool. So in this, we're going to go depression and then elevate and lock out. And we're just going to keep working through this position, depressing our shoulders, pressing back up. Hopefully not getting too much movement out of the forearms. It's just our scapula and shoulders making the movement. My eyes are still looking between
my fingers through the top of my eyelids. That hasn't changed. Awesome, coming out of it as easy or as gracefully as you possibly can for a upside down position. Cool. Move this mat out the way. Cool, we're coming into our sliders. I've got a little box here. We're going to move out into our middle splits. Cool. Yeah, timer's on. Cool. Now it's very cold here this morning in the studio, so I don't mind if I'm not really going to my full range at the moment. And I'm using a little bit of resistance of the ball of my foot to control this, but at the same time gravity is also working to get me lower. I'm also trying to think about pulling my hips forward. Can't really see from this angle, however in the next set I will try to demonstrate. Cool, 8 seconds, 5, 3, 2, 1, good. Coming back up. You can slide your legs closed. Very, very good for your legs. If you just need to come out of it any way as you can, that's fine. What I was saying is I'm trying to eliminate this anterior tilt. I'm trying to pull my hips forward in that middle split stretch. Back to our trilat stretch. Cool, timer is on. So I want to work on my breathing as well in this. Looking through the tops of my eyelids, driving my chest low, pressing my fingertips into each other, trying to rotate my elbows into the wall and closer together, but the wall is stopping me. My shoulders are elevated, and my tailbone is tucked. Cool. Coming out of it, coming over to our box. There we go. So moving through depression and elevation. I'm trying to get as much grip and surface area in the floor in this position so that I'm building a bit of awareness that if I rotate forward a little bit, my fingers and my knuckles drive in, and then if I go backwards, the ball of my foot starts to press in. It's coming down. Also, I'm going to do my middle splits now sideways so you can see it a little bit clearer. You might need to start with a higher position for yours, and that's absolutely fine. Excuse me. Cool. 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 So I'm trying to bring my body or my hips underneath me rather than protracting them back. Good. Sitting nice and tall. I've lifted my heels up a little bit to allow that stretch range, and I'm trying to do as little of my hands as possible. Obviously, as we're starting, we're going to have a lot of resistance here. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bringing my legs in slowly. And going back to the trilat stretch. 2, 1. Back into it. Fingertips together, forearms against the wall, trying to push your
and rotate your forearms into the wall. Hollow position, tuck your tailbone, eyes looking through the top of your eyelids, and drive your chest down. Cool. Coming back up. Good. Going back to our box shrugs. They should be getting a little bit more challenging now. It's fine. You need to lower your knees down, make it a little bit easier. That is fine. And we're on. Awesome. Good. Cool. Onto our middle splits. So I'm going to rotate back to the front so you can see I'm starting to elevate my toes so that I'm on my heels. And you saw that I'm trying to bring my hips as far forward as possible so that I stay nice and tall. And then just trying to breathe and relax into this position. Breathing, very important in this. Cool. Sliding out of it, getting ready for our last set, or sorry, fourth set against the wall for our tri-lat stretch. Going 3, 2, 1, back into it. Cool. Coming out of the wall. If you're feeling you're a bit fatigued, you can have your hands a little bit further out in front of you so you spread the load a little bit further. If you're feeling comfortable, then you may keep your hands as close to the box as you feel comfortable so that we get as much of a replication of the actual handstand position as possible. So this time I'm going to do my side splits with my feet flat. You can do whichever side splits or middle splits that you like, but these are more of a Chinese version, working the outside of the leg. Doing a little bit of bouncing here, helping my breathing. On the next part, if you can take out the AU at the top with the slash and just leave Hole in there for a relay. Cool, coming out of it and cool. Yeah, so take out AU slash. Well, cool, so we've done 4 rounds of that. I'd like you to try and get through 5 to 6. Okay. And yeah, we're going to move on to the next set. Cool. So, something that we've worked on previously, the Hole, which is a really cool capoeira move. Reason I like to bring this into a little bit of handstand work and handstand exploration is that it gives you a bit of an idea of how we can apply the work that we do into an overlap of different areas of movement. So you can always kick up straight into a handstand, but we can enter a handstand from the side, we can press into it. So having a little bit of a beginner's awareness to how many options we have are really cool. So essentially we're going to put one hand down, either behind or in line with our body. We'll bend our legs a little bit if we need to. We swing our opposite leg around to meet our following hand, and then we swing back around to another position. I'm going to do it from standing, and then I'm going to do it from squat. So from standing, up to a full position that. So I had my hips nice and high in that position. I'm going to do it from a squatting position and try and make it look a little bit more florio, or also known as like artistic in the capoeira community. Swing my leg out, meet, bum goes high, swing my leg around, back to full squat, stand up. We're going to do these about 2 to 3 times each side. The Portuguese and the Brazilians say an H for their R, so that's why it might be considered Hole, but you might read it as Role. And it should have a little E accent, but it's hard to find on the keyboard. Yeah. Oh, you did get it? Oh, you did too. Nice one. Cool. So arm, leg, leg. Back to the beginning now. If I do this from the top, a bit higher this time. Back up again. You can see that there's a pretty big similarity with had the awareness of putting my hand out and catching it. Something that's really cool about this is that it will bring awareness to how you bail out of a handstand as well. Putting your hands to the floor and that proprioception, or that awareness of the floor and how you make contact to it. So for instance, if I fall out of a handstand, it's very good that I know how to shift my body weight without being incredibly stressed or unfamiliar and nervous about it. So we're going to keep doing this. 2 to 3 sets, 2 to 3 reps each side. Cool. Finishing up. Start from a lower position, swing my leg around, swing it around the other side, standing up. So we're getting a nice good leg workout out of this. A lot of straight arm pushing. Try not to be too lazy in your shoulders. All that elevation point that we've been working on, try to keep that. And also, if you can, try to look between your legs. And then we follow the capoeira discipline of we're always trying to look at our opponent while we're doing it. We're going to go to a diagonal wall stretch. So I'm going to come over to the wall. I'm going to turn into the wall. So let's say the wall is on this side here. I have my foot elevated on the back, and the starting position is simply just trying to slide my hand down my leg, and I can use this hand, the opposite hand, same leg as going forward, to hold onto the wall and get me into a deeper stretch. We're going to do this for about 10 to 20 seconds on each side, and you should feel a great stretch through the side of your body. Cool, so I'm going to set up next to the wall, bend my leg, lean back slightly, hand slides down my leg. Maybe I can get it to my calf, maybe I can get it to my heel, straight front leg. I'm going to hold here for about 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds. Then go straighten my legs, slide my hand back up, and swap to the opposite side. Cool. So I've only got this small block of wall here, so you might, if you're using a similar size wall, you might need to adjust yourself forward and backwards so that you can get your hand placement. So starting with hand on my back leg, I'm going to slide it down, bend my leg slightly, lean and stretch into the wall. Sliding my leg up, straightening my leg, and coming out of it. Yeah, so between 10 to 20 seconds. Cool. Next exercise we're going to do is coming down to a squat position. And we're going to put our hands out to the side, gently lower ourselves down, push up, side push up, press back up, and then aim to get our feet back to a resting position in the squat. This is called a side push-up. It has a lot of purpose, especially as we get older. If we fall down, building that robustness in our body and also that awareness that I've been talking about. So hands out to the side, lower my leg down for beginners, and then it's just a bit of a side push-up here. I can make it as easy or as challenging as I like, and then push myself back up to my squat position. If you need to be on your toes for this, that's fine. Hands off to the side, lower my leg down, lower my bum down, press. Might not be as graceful for you. Ideally though, I don't want to be on my toes. I want to be flat-footed, and I want to make it a bit challenging, go out a bit further, use less of my leg, press all the way back up. Cool, you're going to do this 2 to 3 reps each side. Cool. So we're going to go through all of this together for one more rep, and so you're able to pause the video and look over it again, and then we're going to cut the stream so that we fall into the time constraints that we have here today. But beautiful part of the videos, you can always go back and hear what I've been saying or reiterate or look at the programming that I've got for you guys. So we're going back to the role or hole. 2 options that you have: straight arms and somewhat straight legs, or going from a flat foot squat position. You may also like to explore a medium squat position, and that's totally fine. So hand goes back, other leg follows, peekaboo, look through your head, swing back around, and all the way back up again. We're going to take that to the opposite side now. Hand goes back, hand goes back. I'm always looking at my opponent or my partner and participant if we're thinking of the roda or the circle that we work in. But it's also good awareness that you're looking between the floor and looking where you might be going, or if you're going to hit anyone. We do it from the low squat position, hand on the floor, swing my leg out and wide, straighten my legs, head goes through, bend my legs, sweep back around, stand back up, low squat position. Back down. Back down. Last rep. Cool. And the beautiful thing about this one is that the more graceful and slow you can do it, the more you're actually getting out of the rep, the more that you're working to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Same as with the handstand. Someone's holding it very straight and very solid, you can be pretty sure that, that they're working very hard and that they have a lot of control in that. The easier we make it look, the more the person has worked on it. We're going to go back to our diagonal stretch. So, bend my leg slightly as it's next to the wall. That hand is going to slide down my leg. I'm going to lean into the wall and twist, aiming to try and touch my calf or my heel. I'm going to hold here with this stretch. Only a small amount of weight in the bent leg hand as possible. You can hear my sort of voice kind of quaking a little bit while I'm in this position. Holding for about 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20, and then sliding up, back up and turning. Opposite side now for the diagonal stretch. Cool. So leg that's closest, that's closest to the wall is bent slightly. The hand is going to trace down the back of my leg. My opposite hand, which my front foot is forward, is going to reach over to the wall. And then sliding back up, over and controlled. I'm going to return to our side push-up now. So if we don't have a flat-footed squat, that's totally fine. Come down to your lowest position, hands out to the side. If you need to lower your thigh and your bum down, that's fine. Side press up or push up from the side, and then aiming to try and get back to our resting position. If you have flat foot and you're a little bit stronger, aim for the leg that you're leaning towards. Try and keep it off the ground. And then we can extend our leg up to the opposite side. So easy version, I press up and then return to my squat as best as I can. Advanced version, dive out and press back up to my rest position. Beginner version, press up to the top, full lockout, aim to return to my position here. Good. And advanced version. Cool. So those are the 3 exercises. You're going to do another 2 to 3 sets, totaling in 5 or 4 sets in total. And yeah, try to build up your awareness with those activities. And I would say finish with another little bit of hanging, and that's going to be a really good workout. So thank you for joining us. And yeah, hopefully I have given enough information. And I think, yeah, just pause the stream or revisit parts of it so that you can get as much out of these workouts as possible. Stay groovy. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks to Gary as well.
Everyone, catch you next week.
Cool. Bye.
Catch you next week. Bye.